As a young company, we need a lot of effort among us ourselves, a lot of unity among us ourselves. We need skills, we need some basics that should motivate us to go to the next level. Because next time maybe we'll go look for a bigger room because we are growing, all right? So each time we have to grow. Each time we have to grow. So he's going to help us with some basics, give us some guidelines. He has big experience in this field of motivation and training staffs from different companies. He is aware that you are drivers. He is aware that you are travel desk consultants. There are some marketers here. So we'll give you Dr. Humble time. We're going to listen to you. We believe in you. That's why we called you. That you have the best material to help this company to go to the next level. So we are not very serious people. So you can make joke amongst yourselves. You can play with us the way you want. So we shall accommodate. Yes. So I think you are going to give Ms. Dr. Hammer time. We listen to him and we see what he has for us today. Can we clap for him as he wakes?
Thank you so much, Bwana Maura and the other directors. John, thank you. My brother from my Mahio, thank you. Of course, Mr. Mushina, I appreciate you once again. And, because I have been doing trainings for many years, of course, this is maybe one of the smallest groups I'm training. I'm used to 1,000 people. When I look at celebrating 9 years of excellence in professional guiding, it has taken, some people don't know, for a company to grow 2 years, 3 years, it takes the hand of God. My company has been learning. Of course, I learn many companies. I'm like Sir Richard Branson. I learn 10 companies, my own. And not because I'm so good at it, but of course, the hand of God has been upon me and my family. And I'll tell you what makes a company to learn. I'll be taking you through this shortly. Many companies in Kenya, including Nakumatt, you may not know why they collapsed. Who would have thought that Nakumatt could have collapsed? They were saying, you need it, we have got it. Now, you need it, go to Quara. You need it, go to Quickmart. Why? And that company had shown all symptoms of growth. Why does KQ struggle? And people are still flying, but KQ struggles. And you say, this is the pride of Africa. Wapi? There are so many times I don't like you saying KQ, sorry to say, but patriotic as I am, because KQ must delay you. Every time we apologize, 15 minutes late. Every time we are sorry. Let's come back to this company called Kenya Bush Expeditions. The kind of work that you people do is so sensitive. It's because it is purely customer-based. Yours is customer service-based. Am I right? And what makes you to go to, for instance, what makes me go to Crown Plaza, Tribe, Eka, Panari, Norfolk? And when Intercontinental was learning, I couldn't have gone there. What made me to completely disappear from this hotel called Boulevard? Because I was there last night and I found they have done some changes. It is purely because of service. Am I right? Quality service. Believe you me. Why are you in Equity Bank, not Cooperative Bank? Why are you in KCB, not NCBA? Why are you in ABSA? It is purely, they offer the same services. A bank is a bank. By the way, just like women, you find men, mwingine anataka anakaa hivi, anataka hivi. It does not matter from where you approach Kenya. The capital city of Kenya is Nairobi. All women are the same. Men are the same. Hakuna mtu akona Bosta, akona Geothermal pande hii, Kenya Power pande hii na Sora. With all this, it all depends. It is purely how you handle issues. Service. You are in a customer-oriented service industry. So what must we do? We'll be looking at that. And again, Mr. John and his colleagues, they will not be everywhere. You are the ambassadors of Kenya Bush. Am I right? And remember, when Kenya Bush goes down, all of you go down. Hakuna first class na economy na business class. Ndege ikianguka inaagukia wote. Ethiopian Airline haikuwasha first class juu when it left Mbole International Airport walianguka wote. When Nakumatt went down, it went down for the directors, for the suppliers, everybody, all the stakeholders. So you should be seeing yourself as a CEO. Wherever you are, if you are the driver, you are the CEO of Kenya Bush Expeditions. If you are the customer care desk, you are the CEO, by the way. This company can grow to levels you have never imagined. And when this company grows, you also grow. When Kenya Bush Expeditions grow, everybody grows, including me, because they'll be able to pay me well. But let me tell you, Mr. Mwaura, the thing that will make Mr. Mushina, this company, to go far, it is purely change of attitude. All of us must. You'll not. Let me surprise you. You will not succeed. If you don't succeed here, even at your home, you will not succeed. You cannot carry two personalities. Okay, we talk about 4 personality traits: melancholy, sanguines, phlegmatics, and cholerics. In simple terms, introverts and extroverts. But by the end of the day, we are talking about an individual. What is your attitude? Your attitude, I wish I had a pen and the flip chart, because I could have written a few things for you here. Your attitude dictates your altitude. Your attitude dictates your altitude. You are where you are. And the Bible says, I'm a pastor trained, as a man thinketh, so he is. You are basically a product of your own thoughts. You can never be wiser than your thoughts. You can't be wiser than your thoughts. If you work because of Mr. Mwaura, ukimwona Mr. Mwaura akisema kila mtu akuja na kofia, wewe unakuja na hii inaitwa hii wanaibaga hii ya maboy, inaitwa cowboy. Sasa ananiambia nifae kwa my dress my choice. You are going against a company policy. You are a poor employee of an individual, and you can't stay long in that particular company. The moment you resist change, the moment you refuse to hear what the directors are telling you, that becomes a recipe for failure. I'm also employed, by the way. And my boss is not as educated as I am. I'll be showing you my CV. He's not as, but I respect him. The Bible says in the book of Romans 13:1, respect those in authority. So, you can see the director is small-bodied. His body morphology, anatomy, and general physique is not that big. But you have to respect him. Ruto, the president, is not as educated as Professor Kithure Kindiki, but he says, the excellency. He respects him. Moi was a standard 8 dropout. But he conferred all our degrees and we never refused, because you have to respect those in authority. So if you want to succeed and to go far, you must learn to respect those in authority. You must change your attitude. We spend so much time on things that don't add value to us. I wish you can be able to master something at Kenya Bush Expeditions that will make you unique. That every tourist who comes here will be asking, where is Michael? Where is John? Because they like you, they admire you. Or are you're the kind of a person that the bosses here, the directors are always writing letters to you, always late, always drunk, always having issues, guests are complaining, always late picking our guests from the airport, you know, and you are here, and you're the first one to ask for a salary. And you are the most chaotic, volatile staff member. You are the first one to ask the salary, but you are always late. Airport, hello, Madam Lillian, chef, what happened? Where's the car? You even appear in the airport carrying the placard. Roger. Yes, to Meridian. So come, let's go. Carry your bags. And you're calling yourself a staff of Kenya Bush Expeditions. What image have you left to those tourists? Do you think they'll ever do business with you? When no business comes to your organization, no money. Am I right? There's no money. You need to ask yourself, what generates money to your company? Sometimes I look at individuals and I wonder, do they know what they are doing? Because the moment you fail to understand what brings food on the table, you're not in business. What keeps you there? When I see those staff members of banks and supermarkets misbehaving, it pains my heart because they don't know. They are putting their jobs on the line. Like, you know, Nakumatt collapsed. Where are those employees? Ushumi collapsed. Where are those employees? Na walikuwa wanajiriga tu nakuja ukishelewa. Ulikuwa unalipwa mshahara, kazi yako ni kutafuta ni kunywa pombe. You are the first one to know Quavers, where Quavers is. You are the first one to know what is for the street, for 5 cousins, Black Rebel, Red Rebel, Don Perigno, Captain Morgan. Nashisha kule ina. You are the first one to know. Spending your money, forgetting that time is flying. Time is passing. Let me tell you, Mother Nature is very unforgiving, as Professor Wangari Maathai said. One day, history will judge you. Where were you all those years? Unaulizwa na mtoto wako, mlikuwa mnasoma na Mushina. Na mlikuwa mnafanya kazi na Mushina. Ako na gorofa 3 na anako na nini kama. Wewe ulikuwa unafanya nini kazi yako? Ulipoteza muda. Kwani wewe ulikuwa Kamete maximum prison? Kazi yako hapa ni kuzunguka, uko na Akinyi, uko na Wamboi, uko na Waithera. Wewe umekuwa AI, artificial inseminator. AI. Immigration department Dubai, unapiga kila mtu anapiga. What will you be remembered for in life? Like now when you talk about Vasco da Gama, why do we remember Vasco da Gama? It is because he came using a dhow all the way from India to Maridi. So why do we remember Archimedes? Was he your brother? He was not your brother. But he came up with a theory of what we call buoyancy that gives birth to a shape. The amount of water displaced equals the volume of the object. Sir Isaac Newton, if he was a Kenyan, we could not have known that as Isaac Newton, Mkenya askia avocado imeaguka. The first thing agagia Mungu, bili haitoshi, agusha tano. Lakini huyu jamaa aliaguza Mungu. How come this fruit has come downwards instead of going? And he came up with the theory of gravity. What will you be remembered for at Kenya Bush Expedition? The late comer, the noise maker, the most disorganized. Tukiambiwa tuweke baji, hatuweki baji, ni kama unauza bagi. Kwani Kenya Bush Expedition unauza bagi? That you don't put the name. Like now when I go to where I go to teach yesterday, I think I had gone to get my exams. I normally display my card. Kwani nimetupa. This I don't hide. So let me just demonstrate because I'm a teacher. So when I'm going to the university, I carry this. I normally put it here. Why do I put my name tag? Because I'm proud of my university. Be proud of what you do. Ukiambiwa weke faini kama vile tumefaa. Sasa angalia vile Bwana John alikuja na mavazi yote. Kuanzia kiatu, kuanzia hii mnaona kofia na zingine hatuoni zote ni Kenya Bush Expedition. That's what we call loyalty. Loyalty. You must be loyal. Am I right? You must be very loyal. Be loyal. So becoming the super employee. And why do you want you to become? Why do you think the directors are interested in you becoming a super employee? It is because they know if this company is going to turn around its fortunes, it is going to rely on you. And that's what the directors say, that we count on you. We are counting on you. They can't be everywhere. Even Ruto, while he was recruiting 51 PSs and the 21 CSs, and he will be recruiting another 30, 50 CSs, it is purely because he can't work alone. What makes a good employee? You can't be a good employee without discipline. I'm starting with the key one. The key one, let me tell you, in life, even those girls, those ladies that you see here, you remember there was a time your mother was telling you, don't play with Kiprono. Nimekwambia mara ngapi? Don't play aloud with Kiprono. Mama yako akilala ulikuwa unafanya hivi. Naenda kwa Kiprono. Kainengo giletio goka. Nilikuwa nimekatazwa kuja. Now, is your mother even concerned where you are now? Do what you want. Si ni kweli? Discipline is key. There is nothing that makes an individual like discipline. Having the discipline to show up on time. Underline that. Having the discipline to show up on time and complete tasks by deadlines are variable traits of an employee. Being disciplined requires focus, initiative, and drive. Unfortunately, you can't buy discipline from any shop. So discipline means, first of all, you don't require to be supervised by anyone. If I find that you are being supervised by your managers, you are a perfect example of a failure. You are a failure. Why? You must be knowing why were you hired in the first place. Discipline. Discipline means if you know the company has said that you must be in uniform when you are picking the guests from the airport. Unajua kuna watu wengine wanasikiaga uniform ni kama ile ya prison. Ukisikia tu uniform, unaangalia unaona kama boss anakuja, ndio nakibiria koti. Ile imeandikwa Kenya Bush Expeditions. Before he came, you were wearing what we call a t-shirt written here, a monike. Or here written Arohadero. But ukiona boss, ndio kile amekuja. Hata unakuja ukitengeneza hivi. You find another guy coming, kama polisi wengine kule Uganda. Wanakuja parade wakiwa amelewa. So boss anawaambia yake ni mguu hivi. Anafanya hivi. Boss, hiyo ilikuwa party ya training. Ni wanauliza boss yake. The guy was fired. Being disciplined requires focus. You must be focused. Let me surprise you. And I was happy when I heard one of the Mr. Mushina say that in the near future, you will be the people owning your own companies. Am I right? So this, you never know why God brought you at such a time, such as this. God has brought you here with a purpose. And please do work as if you're serving the Lord. Service to mankind is service to God. Let me be the most noticeable, disciplined employee. Believe you me, you'll be getting more benefits. When I became the best financial advisor in Kenya, they took me to 60 countries worldwide, including being taken to Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. I was in Maracana, Sao Paulo, and Fortaleza. And just before that, I rushed to Buenos Aires in Argentina to see where Messi comes from. Because of being a good employee. My first house, which I built at age 25, which is properly documented here, which is not valued at 90 million shillings, was because of being a good employee. I was given a loan of 5 million in the year 1998. 5 million was a lot of money. I drove my first SUV, Pajero Intercooler Turbo from Sibacots in 2001, worth 3.2 million shillings, because of being a good employee. Hasa wengine hapa ni kupushiwa, that wheelbarrow is not good unless pushed. No ginyotite kwa ni kama wheelbarrow. You know, if you are the type of a person, an employee with a wheelbarrow, your days are not bad. You definitely exit. Because these directors, they must see the dream come to fruition. This company, let me tell you, if the directors tell you how much they spend sleepless nights thinking on how this company can grow. Unajua kwanza nyinyi, hata kikiumana, lazima walipe mishahara. Kuna directors wengine hata kulala ni shida. Sababu nakumbuka sasa, mwezi umekaribia, guy. And have a wage bill of 200 of 500,000. What do I do? Well, unasleep, unalala tu. So you need, one of the things that will make you to become a good employee is being disciplined. Do you agree, all of us? Going forward, it costs you nothing. You don't buy. I normally ask people, even my own daughters, what does it cost you to become disciplined? And I normally remind my daughters that, what is character? Character is what you do when nobody is seeing you, apart from yourself and your God. And of course the devil, because the devil is always closer to you. He was once in cabinet. And the Bible says, by the way, that anybody who aspires to succeed in life must be disciplined. If you have to succeed, to become a good employee, you must be disciplined. I'm not going to lay a lot of emphasis because I believe all of you know the benefits of being disciplined. So you must be at your desk. You should not be missing calls. Guests are calling, your colleagues are calling, they can't get you because you are busy on TikTok. You are busy dancing. If ukiweka kamera pale mbele, halafu unaenda mbele kwa kamera, unafinya, unakuja, unatuonyesha nyuma tukufanye ni tukule. You know, unajua watu wengi Kenya ni hivi tu. Unashinda sasa, wacha kucheka na wewe. You know, unajua watu wanakuja, they spend their time on TikTok doing things that don't add value. We must be disciplined. And we must be men and women of character. Hope you understand what character. I wish I had time to take you through what we call the thought process. That is for another day. What is character? And of course, integrity. You must be a person, when you get paid, are you justified to be paid that salary that you get every end of the month? When you go to get that particular salary that you get, doesn't matter the amount, but is it justified? Can you quantify the time you gave to Kenya Bush Expeditions? Point number 2. You must know how to communicate. You deal with guests. A good employee communicates well. Communicating with others is a huge part of working with your team and helping your team within the company. People who communicate effectively bring a great gift to the firm. How do you communicate? When the guest calls you, like I know you carry guests, what kind of a report do they give to the directors? Do you get customer feedback? Do you have those forms in the car? You must get what you call customer feedbacks. How are you? How did the driver behave? Was he drinking? Wewe ni unakunywa chupa 10. Anaambia hapana, hapa tunakunywaga. Here we take beer as part of our diet. Uko na Tusker, uko na GK kubwa, uko na Guinness. Uko na Guinness kubwa na unabeba ile can kwa mfuko 2. Ukipeleka wasuku na so you can see some wild animals there. Just a minute. Here we like being high. Problems are many here. We like being You can imagine. It is a good employee communicates well. Can you be recognized by the directors for working, being disciplined, dressing nicely? Unafaa vizuri. Na unajua ingine nasema si kazi ni ya kina Mushina. Si Mushina sasa kwa nyumba na amelala na bibi yake. Hapo ananipigia simu saa 7. Teo kama nimechukua wazungu. Si hata yeye akuja ashukue. Kwani hana mikono na miguu? Asitulete kwani. Wewe waiter. Wewe atatugojea. Si airport kuna kuaga na mambo mingi. Leta bili. Na weke ile kali sana. Ile itanitwaga mara moja nisikie kichwa imeshika line. And unajua at that time you are driving a car. You put the risk of the tourists at risk and even your own life at risk. Then after that, now the director sack you. Go home. Communication does not necessarily refer to the tourists that you carry or the guests. Now, one of the things I want to remind you people is that can you communicate? Even amongst yourselves, how do you communicate? When you are calling him, how do you... Unajua kuna wengine wanaitana tu kienyeji sana. Wewe Joshua, na kuna wageni. Joshua, tumia hii. Can I have... I'm telling you, there are people who are called uncouth. You know what I mean by being barbaric? They use what we call obnoxious language, unprintable epithets. They suffer from verbal diarrhea. They speak anyhow. Hamujawahi sikia watu kama wanaongea. Na ni ofisi. Halafu ukisikia mtu ukimuuliza, Jennifer, unaenda nje kwani huoni? Na ukimwambia na leo uko smart, halafu na anaenda. You know, and he's your colleague. You wonder, surely, you must remember to leave your stresses at home when you come to work. Don't bring your mood swings to the office. Sio kuna watu wanakujaga na mambo sababu mlikuwa na shida na bibi yako last night. Unakuja na unamwambia, ati ulikuwa unataka nini? Ati habari yako utaiweza? They speak like that. When you come to the office, you must take this one to be your workstation. This is your job, and you have been hired here for a purpose. And let me tell you this. Allow me to quote one of my greatest motivational speakers of all the times. He's called a GOAT, greatest of all times. May he rest in peace, Dr. Miles Monroe, for those who know him, who died in an air crash together with his wife in Bahamas. He was saying the greatest tragedy in people's lives is not death, but leading a life without purpose. Why did you wake up in the morning? You could have slept. Why did you wake up in the morning? Because you have a purpose to fulfill. In the wealthiest place in the entire globe is in the grave. Where presidents who could have become never became. Where poets who could have become never became. Where greatest footballers never became. And one of the things that makes people realize what is their purpose in life is by doing what you've been called to do with all your energy, with all your thoughts and concentration. Communicate well with your colleagues, with your customers, and whoever you come across to. If you want to become a good employee, be punctual. Listen to this. The little dress in your morning routine might cascade and have implications far beyond your schedule. Those are the little things. If you're a lady and you take 30 minutes to prepare yourself, because ladies take longer than us men. Because she has to go to the mirror 7 times on average. She has to walk on her. Like I normally see my wife, she has to check herself, anavuruta guo. She even makes anajiangalia nywele inafanywa hivi. Nguo anajiangalia huku na muuliza ni kitu gani unaangalia nyuma? Si nimeona uko sawa. Anajiangalia. You know, before she leaves the bedroom, 30 minutes done. So if you know that you must take 30 minutes, why don't you then wake up earlier by 1 hour? Wengine ni kukimbia tu. Be punctual. Next time when the CEO calls you, when the board of directors, you see some of you people, you forget. Why do you think I was here early? Because of traffic. An accident can occur. Am I right? You can imagine how you're seated here. He's calling me. Director, nisamehe kuna traffic. You know, you'll take it because, but inside you'll be knowing what kind of a chaotic person is. Good employees show up on time and incorporate extra time. Let me tell you, Mr. Bwana Chairman, I suppose you are the chairman because I understand you're the ones who mooted the idea before you became, I don't know how many directors you are. I can hear that you still have some more. How many directors are you? You never told me about directors. You know, you have a very unique manager here. I said, no, I'm the CEO. That's what I learned. Never told because you come and meet with my colleagues. And that's how it should be. You don't disclose about everything about. Washa kuambia kila mtu kule mnaishi na mnafanya nini na unapeleka watoto shule wapi. Kwani wanipa karo uwaambie. Tu ukipeleka mtoto shule ya Pioneer no lazima uweke kwa Facebook. No for here we come. Na tuambia ni sisi tulikulipia. Si uende uongee na mwalimu alafu nyamaze. Siba mwenda kimya ndiye mula nyama. So please make sure a good employee does not report at work at 8. Wengine naonaga literally they clock at 8. You are a poor employee. A good employee comes at 7:30. He's not the first one to leave. She's not the first one. She leaves at 5:30 or 6. That's a serious employee. Wengine wanakaga wanaangalia saa. That you can even leave a client unattended sababu saa 11 imefika. Mimi silipagwe extra. You know, we have people who can't go out of their way. That you can even leave a tourist, a guest in the airport. Hii time silipagwe mimi. Na kama simuaola kuja afanye hii, kwani asitulete? Si hata akuja afanye. Hata kwanza halipagi. Na hakuna overtime. Asitulete hata Na ukipigiwa simu, a bad employee anapimaga simu. Unaona ni director anapiga literally. Wanaani ukuifanga leo. Let me surprise you. Put yourself into his own shoes. If you were the one who was the director, would you want you to be treated the same way? The Bible says, the same measure that you give shall be the same measure to be given unto you. Do unto others as you'd like them to do to you. Simple. And then remember, let me tell you this, and I have told people and they come telling me, Kibisho, thank you because you made me to take a total paradigm mental shift the way I had on my boss. Now, let me ask you this. Would you want God to bless you one day with a company like this? If you hate Kenya Bush Expeditions, God will never give you the company you hate. You must first of all like it, love it, so that God can give you a company eventually like this. The Bible says, if you can't manage scarcity, you can't manage abundance. Trust. If you cannot be trusted with little, you cannot be trusted with more. So they should even tell them, don't you worry, keep everything here, it will be intact. And you make sure that you safeguard everything. Because you are in charge. It is not you who is in charge. Yes, the company may belong to you, Mushina, director, but the company belongs to all of us. Because if something is lost in that vehicle, who will be blamed? The company, not you. It is Kenya Bush Expeditions. By the way, let me tell you, even when you take beer, wherever you take that beer with decorum and tandem. Because they don't see you as an individual, they see you as Kenya Bush. So ukikunywa pombe unakunywa na style, sio kuweka shubabili. Hii ni ya Bush. Unakunywa na mpagilio jameni. Na mtu ambaye anafanya na Kenya Bush Expedition, halewi mpaka anaenda hivi. Unakunywa kiugwana. Preferably without staggering. Morning everyone. And you keep quiet. When you take beer, don't talk. Because end of the year party has actually been the platform where many employees are sacked. Because in the process of interacting with the directors, unaongea matope. Nakwambianga wewe unakuwa mweusi kama kiatu ya polisi. In the process, you do what? You lose your job. So I have been, by the way, I can tell you this because I'm normally invited in many end of the year party, that many people have lost their jobs during end of year party. Because unafikiria pombe ni ya bure, sasa unakunywa kienyeji. Kama unakunywa bili wakati uko peke yako, kunywa bili hata saa hii. Hiyo ingine ndio ukakunyulia kwako kwa nyumba. Kule utaformat bila kuulizwa maswali. Mtu mwingine anamjaga director. Wewe director nilikuambia utuongezee mshahara. Sijui kama kichwa yako hainikushika haishiki. Na nilikwambia hivyo tu na hukusikia. Mungu akikuchukua tutapiga makofi. You see, what have you done to the director? Let me tell you, you have already planted a seed of discord. In the fullness of time, you will be shown the door. Unajua binadamu akona makosa. We all have mistakes in life. So can we become punctual in whatever? Please make sure you're in your desk, my sister, at the right time. You are the marketing manager. I understand you're the marketing team. How do you market the company? How do you go dressed? Yes, you are selling a company called Kenya Bush, but you cannot go keeping the entire kitchen of children out. Kama watu wengine kanisani wanaenda kuibia Yesu. Wanasema Lukia Yesu Lukia. Na ameweka gua hapa, akasema Lukia Yesu, anaanza anarudisha matiti. Lukia na anarudisha. Si wewe na kitu imefuga yote. People who can't get to work on time, listen to this, regardless of whatever the day throws at them, are more likely to show up for the meetings on time or even a little early. These are the people you want to seek out for new positions. Kuna watu wana keep time. Hata kama kuna nyesha, they know how to handle that. Me, I don't give excuses when it comes to time. And I'm telling you that I'm not proud. Even my family knows. My wife knows. Mimi kunajulikana kwa mikutano bwana John, you have already now tested me twice. I must be at the venue early. And let me tell you, if you know how to keep time, kwa Kenya Bush Expeditions, hata kwako uta keep time. How do you manage the money? I will be coming to that as well, because some of you, when you get paid, you disappear until the salary is over. Simu iko off mpaka mshahara uishe. Utakumbuka una job. Unachukua nyoka fi. Unatoka hapa mpaka Kitegera. Unajificha huko. Unatafutwa na simu mpaka wewe anaenda kwa polisi. Kwani alikuliwa na simba huyu kwa mzito. Tatu kumtuma Masai Mara. Do you know, we have some employees who cannot be sacked. You can't sack them because they have the institutional memory, they are known, they are well behaved, they are well groomed. Hata wakati wa kufika wa kulitea utamwambia, my brother, I still think you have more energy that you can work for more. Tutakupatia mshahara extra for the next 5 years. Why do you think the company is still interested? Some people are indispensable. You know what I mean by that? Indispensable. There are some people who are so good. Even here, I know Mr. Director, you know a good employee. Mr. Mushina, here you know. This company has been running for 9 years. Bwana John, si unajua, you know the good employee. You know, unajua wale chaotic hapa. Wale you can't count on them. Okay, well, wazungu wanakuja kwanza unauliza. It might be your name. Unajua next time unaandika majina yenu yote mnakuja nayo. John. Haya, the Baptist. The first thing that you ask, ukisikia kuna wazungu wanatoka America, is John available on that day? Your name is Wellington. No. Washa Wellington, nasema Wellington is on standby. Washa I know he's on standby. But is John available? What do you think he's saying? Na uko na mikono miwili na unakaa kwanza wewe ndiye mwenye kampuni vile unakaa na hiyo tubo. Unafika Wellington account asafikiria ndiye mwenye kampuni. Ana amekula mali. Asema, I don't want Wellington. Why do you insist? Why do you think you need John Moore? It is because he is reliable. If you want to become a good employee, we mentioned having discipline already. But discipline is only as important if the person is also driven towards a goal. As this company called Kenya Bush Expedition grows, do you have a goal? For those who are Christians like me, in the book of Proverbs 29:18, the Bible says, a nation without a dream is perishing. So just like now, I know you have a strategic plan, Mr. John. If you don't have, hire me, pay me well. I prepare strategic plans for companies. You know, a strategic plan helps you to understand where you have come from, where you are headed, as well as taking SWOT analysis. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the opportunities available? And what can threaten your dream? Then we do what we call the PESTO analysis, the political, environment, social, then we do what technological, legal, and other things we do. I'm an expert in that area, remember. CEO, unajua bwana Sherman, unajua kuna watu wengine wanafanyaga kazi kwa ofisi na wako kwa Brighter Monday. So wanafanyaga, hello, Kenya Bush Expeditions, how can I help you? No, call me later. So Brighter Monday, they're looking for employers. Hello, Brighter Monday. Do you have a job? I can see that you have a vacancy. How much are you paying? 38. Are there any other benefits? No, I'll be available on Monday. So on Monday unaambia boss, hey, nimeamka nikihala. Sasa nataka kuangaliwa kwa daktari. Nakwenda kwa daktari ni Brighter Monday. So see, you are serving this company called Kenya Bush Expeditions that gives you food at the end of the month, but you are busy looking for another job elsewhere. Is that employee productive? He is not productive. Let me tell you something. The company may not have been there for many years, but I congratulate you once again, can you stay with the company, grow with the company, so that as the company grows, you also grow, that's what we call, you also become driven to succeed on your own fronts. When you go to a new company, they also take a bit of time to study you. Before they study you, you take another how many years? Then you move out of that company. When will you grow? When will you accumulate your benefits? When will you accumulate your credibility scorecard? Make sure that you have a goal. Broadly speaking, people who are driven towards success are better additions to your company because they are always motivated to do their best. You know, when you have a goal, kama umefanya kazi miaka 7, miaka 8, na hujanunua plot, uko na shida. You have a problem. Unless God comes your way, you have a problem. You can't, let me tell you, especially young ladies and men who are here, if you want to succeed, start planning now. Join a circle, save. Don't eat all the money. Save in a circle. Borrow a loan. Buy a plot. Put a house. Hata kama ni mabati lakini kwako. You better even be coming from Kantafu or Kamuru. Lakini nyumba ni ya nani? Ni yako. Nyumba ya Rad Road haina value. Tunakuja mimi nakaa Kile. Mimi nakaa Lore. Mimi nakaa kakale kwa nani na uko Savanti Quarter. Kule unamwagiliwa maji wakimaliza kuoga kule. You know, be proud of what you have your own. Am I right? Be proud of your company, Kenya Bush Expeditions. The manager can make I'll not talk about it at this point, but I am encouraging you people to have what we call circles. Be saving something so that you can be able to take a loan and you buy a plot. Now, when you know you have an employer who will be paying you a salary, you have confidence to commit to your salary. And you have the confidence to serve the company in a better way. You must be driven to succeed. A good employee is always readily adaptable. Let's talk about adaptability. You know how a chameleon operates. How does a chameleon operate? When a chameleon goes to a background which is green, it becomes what? We had COVID the other day. Do you remember? COVID was with us. What happened? Some things can happen that can... Msiwe mnakula kila kitu. Hii mshahara mnalipwa, wahega wanasema ya kwamba, ukiona vierea, vimeundwa jameni. Na haba, hujaza kibaba. Na mtegemea nduguye, hufa maskini. Na mula nawe havinawe, ila msaliwa nawe. Na bahati ya mwenzio, usilalie mlango wasi Wellington. Wakati COVID ilikuja, si hata skies ilikuwa zimefungwa. Hakukuwa na wageni. So mlihebu hiyo nyote mwende nyumbani. Wewe kazi yako ilikuwa clearing and forwarding. You had subscribed to the Haina philosophy of clearing and forwarding. Kila kinakuja clearing and forwarding. Sasa clearing ikasimamishwa. Hapo hakuna kitu ya kuforward, hakuna mshahara na uko na bibi na watoto, my brother. How did you manage to survive? You need to keep some savings. Readily adaptable means anything can do what? Anything can happen at any time. And that is why we have so many airports. So that in the event the weather up there is not comfortable and the fuel is almost coming to getting finished, you can be able to land in the next airport. We have what we call the IATA rules and regulations. In the case there's what we call an emergency landing, they are allowed once they are cleared by the air traffic controllers. Similarly, you should also have what we call a soft spot landing. Readily adaptability means this. Whether you consider it flexibility or more of a on-the-fly innovation, having employees who are able to adapt. The company may wake up one day and say, you are aware what is the prevailing conditions, so we can't be able to pay you salaries 100%. We will pay you at 70%. Kwani hakujipanga? Wakati ulikuwa tunafanya kazi yako kuweka akiba. Na wewe jiulize wakati ulikuwa unalipwa, kwa nini wewe hukuweka akiba? Why do you want your boss to save and you are not saving yourself? So we are saying employees throughout the world had to adopt during COVID. Am I right? As the new normal. People are told work from home. Sasa nyinyi wale mnabeba tu list. Ulikuwa unabeba kwako nyumbani. Work from home. Very good. Now work from home. How does that one happen? You can't work from home because you carry tourists from one destination to another. So one of the things that those who are capable of adapting to changing situations are problem solvers. You must always be willing to adapt to the new changes that comes. When the company says, we will be meeting at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. What do they laws say? No, tuangalie katiba. Unajua wakubwa wanakuaga saa zingine ni kama hafikiri. Tusome katiba. What does the labor law say? Even the employment and labor code inasemaga you report at 8, you leave at si basi hata yaada 6. Tusiada 6. Tutazuko. Bebe wa bibi yake na watoto waada 6. Lakini sio sisi. Na unajua finally unakataa but finally you find yourself going at 6. So you waste your energy resisting. The only person who loves change is a child when the diapers are being changed. Big men and women don't love change. Unfortunately, change is the only constant in the world. The only thing that is assured of happening is change. Like now, ukubali ukatae, Ruto is the president. And you can do nothing about it. You can do nothing. So, we are saying those who are capable of adapting to changing situations are problem solvers who are likely skilled to lead others through the struggles with a smile. Sometimes the company may come up with a change. Wanasema everybody should be in uniform. Why should you resist uniform? Kwani ni porcupine umewekewa kwa muogo? Unaambiwa Monday to Friday be na tie. Kwani mimi nimefaa tie 30 years. Kwani unatoaga tie ukiona boss ndio unarudishaga hivi? Kai ni kile. Nimekuja. Unangangana unaenda kwa show mara moja huko. No. Hapo unakuja ukijifanya umekuwa na tie the whole day. Unajua kwani kuna mtu anafanyaga hivyo sababu kwani kuna mtu anafichaga tie hapa bwana Mushina? Hapa kuna mtu anafanyaga hivyo hapa. Hapa. Kwani honestly speaking, kwani kuna mtu anafanyaga hivyo bwana Mushina? I think so. There must be some. You're laughter. No, as a psychologist, I know. So, let me tell you, why do you resist change? Na hakuna, sio msigo unawekewa kwa mgongo. See, mimi, when the company said all of us will be dressing down on Friday, I am the first one to dress down. It will cost me nothing to dress down. Wakisema tunyolewe nywele, as long as I'm in the company nitanyolewa. Nikitoka sitaendelea tu kumea. Si hata Samson ilimea wakati ninyolewa. Kwani shida iko wapi jameni? Why should you things that you should not be struggling for things that are not demanding for those struggles. You should be struggling to make sure the company grows. So we are saying readily adaptable. Please, the directors may one day come and say, now we are proposing that all of you mtakuwa mnakaa area moja sababu we have one fund for the staff. Tafutani new atatulipia. Swali ni atatulipia. Unajua wakati wengine directors wanaanga kama ni bosi wanaongoza. Sasa akisema tukae sote umoja umo. Mimi nikae umo. Tukae Kayole zote. Si akuje na familia yake akae Kayole. And the management is trying to look for what we call the most effective way of having staffs in one concentrated camp. Why do you think we have jeshi in Langata, Embakasi, Nanyuki concentrated ukienda na Gilgil? That's because of the emergency of the job. Na kama kukaa pahali pamoja kutakupatia mshahara mzuri kuna shida gani? Kwani kule kwingine ulikuwa unalipiwa na Yesu Kristo? I don't know. We must be a good employee is readily adaptable. Are we in agreement? Yes. Directors wakisema na Wellington unakunywa pombe sana tafadhali punguza hiyo pombe. Hakuna pahali za kupeleka. He's helping you. He's telling you save that money. Hakuambii umletee kwa mfuko wake. Save that money isaidie familia yako. Sasa anaigilia maneno yangu. Ataiweza? Kwani pombe ni ya baba yake? Ni ya brewery. Hapo anatuambia tusikunywe. Si aende ashuge mali yake. Mimi aniashirie. Hiyo ni swag. My freedom, my swag. Hapo unaona jamaa na walk like this. Hiyo ni my. Unajua it's not right to refuse to accept changes when they come your way. Now look at this. A good employee is forthright and honest. How many of you are honest in a company? The company has said this. Some of us people, we are never honest with ourselves. We do not give the true picture of who we are. Some of us, we give very flimsy excuses because we want to run away from the realities of life. Let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Please treat this company like it is yours. God will one day make you become an owner of a company like this. Being direct and transparent in communication is a huge part of establishing and nurturing an open office culture. Be honest. Ukiingia kwa ofisi ya huyu mrembo, don't go opening drawer zake. Unafungua nini? Unaangalia kwa bagi yake nini? Ni kitu gani mlikuwa mmewekania kwake? Unaona mtu mwingine akiingia kwa ofisi anaangalia tumeongezewa. Unaona ameongezea tu jina sababu anakuaga na madeals. Si mimi nikwambia unaona jina yangu haiko hapa kwa shetani. You know, so what are you doing in somebody office's desk? Don't open anyone's bag unless you're invited to do that. Don't open even the drawer for the seat. Why are you opening her drawer? Why are you opening her drawer? Stick to your lane. Stick to your lane. Unajua kuna watu wengine by the way, ndiposa wahenga wakauliza pilipili usioila. Hey. Respect boundaries. If you respect boundaries, you'll never go wrong in life. So be forthright and honest. Listen to this. Bush expeditions crave for those people who are forthright and honest. And one of the key qualities of a good employee you should seek is honesty and a forthright approach. People who speak frankly and bring truth to conversations are valuable assets for a number of reasons. Chief among these is the fact that people interact with those employees feel more heard and valued. Why do you think customers keep coming back? It is called referral, repeat business. When they come to Kenya, they want to use Kenya Bush. Why? It was the experience, pure experience. Remember, you're not monopoly. Are you monopolistic in nature? We have other people doing what you do. So what is going to set you apart from those other companies? It is purely customer delight. Customer delight. A good employee is one who can lead. Leading means you don't expect Mr. Mushina to be there throughout. You can also become a leader at your own light, of your own light. Leadership is about more than being a good boss. Everybody, any employee is a leader. When you have been given tourists or guests, you are the one leading Kenya Bush expedition at that point in time. So when you go to the airport to pick guests, Mr. Wellington, be well labeled. Carry that placard with well-written names. Guys coming from Vienna, Austria, coming from what you call Paris, France, coming from Schiphol International Airport in the Netherlands. You know, the company taking those guests, and the car must be clean. Masa kufutia sigara kwa gari bwana. Na umebeba watu wengine wako na mimba. Na akasema, "Welcome to Kenya. Here we smoke free." Then you are driving tourists, people who have come from well-casured communities. You're crisscrossing the road like this. Here we don't care. Leave alone the police. These are just stooges. Then you drive, you meander. So they start wondering, sure, is this driver going to drive us safely to where we are going? Be patient on the road. They understand. By the way, they even find you to be more casual. And don't just shout on the phone. Sababu umepigwa na bibi yako. Na unabeba gani? Hello! Is this a police on wada? Hello! Oh, behave like, hello, how are you? Niko na wageni nitakupigia. Courtesy. Don't shout. Don't shout. Don't shout. Unajua wengine kwa kishikwa simu. Hello! You are driving and you even know picking a phone when driving is a crime. So they wonder, surely, what kind of, you know, you are the people who sell Kenya. So wasungu wanajuaga, how do they know Kenya? See, it is through you, Wellington. They know you. So they know Kenya through you. So the behavior you exhibit to them, they now generalize. That's how Kenyans behave. When you go with tourists, don't go eating everything. You carry all the food. Unabeba ingine mpaka unaweka melon kwa chakula. This is how we eat here. By the end of that, it will go to the same stomach. You know, I normally teach people what we call etiquette and grooming. How do you dress? When you're going to talk to people, when you're carrying those, I don't know whether you have jackets that these guys wear when they're carrying guests. Do you have a badge, name tag? They should have that clear. Na mtu ukikuta hajafaa, hiyo ni penalty. Unajua wengine wanaonaga boss ndio iko kwa mfuko, hata akienda kwa airport iko kwa mfuko. Lakini akisikia unakuja, amefika wapi? Amefika wapi? Hata kofia, unajua kofia kwanza ulikuwa umevaa hii. Unangojea tourist. Welcome. This is Kenya Bush Expeditions. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you worry, this is Kenya. Hakuna matata. So, you know, ukisikia boss anakuja unatani kofia, Na comes my badge. Badge the whole day was like this. Let me demonstrate using my badge. The whole day the badge was like this. Unaona? What does that badge tell you? Mtu amejifisha. Hii umefaa tu sababu ni law. A good employee, you keep your badge like this. Let people see your name. What are you hiding? Aren't you proud of the company you serve? You must be proud of the company that you serve. And let me tell you something. We say, Mr. Boro and Mr. Mushina and the other director, 80% of Kenyans, they report to where they hate most. A good employee is detail-oriented. When somebody asks you about this company called Kenya Bush Expeditions, you must have all the information at your fingertips. You are the first contact with the guest. So the guest may be interested to know how long this company has been in existence. Have you been awarded anything within the tourism industry? What are your prospects? Where do you take your guests? Some people can say, no, at Kenya Bush, everything is hidden. So just ask me to take you to Amboseli. So detail-oriented. They say the devil is in the details. And quite often, it is a little thing someone has overlooked all along the way that ends up becoming a hiccup. What you need to do, just ensure you have all the information, but give the relevant information. Sitaki kupizita hapo. Give what is important. Associate yourself with men and women of reputation. The Bible says a good name is to be chosen. Whom do you associate yourself with? When ongea mambo mazuri ya Kenya, unajua, if you can post that thing there, you can even do something and you post it on YouTube or maybe on Facebook that will bring you customers. Even the way you are dressed, you should have a very nice photograph. Kenya Bush Expedition celebrates 9 years. Hata kama mmeshika ile kitu 9 years. It says a lot. It sells you out. That's what you're interested in. Making more money, getting more guests, and keep records of your guests. I hope you do keep so that you can be selling anniversaries. We were with you last year. Should you come back to Kenya? We are still waiting. Our hearts are open. Come back to us. Everybody must be a marketer. Or Dr. Mwangi of Equity is the only one who knows the power of an employee. The power of an employee, what he did, Dr. Mwangi of Equity, he ensured that everybody buys shares from Equity Bank through what we call ESOP, Employee Staff Ownership Program. Employee Staff Ownership, it's called ESOP. So everybody is a shareholder. So when you're serving the customer, you have an interest in it. You know you'll be paid dividends. Lakini kampuni zingine zinaashiria tu kama Masai na ng'ombe. Sisi hazijafungwa. So become detail oriented, but I'm telling you I'm cushioning you, only give the information that is necessary. You don't go talking like you have eaten, you last ate in January, you ate in January. Tuko Kenya Bush Expedition sisi. Na tunaendelea. Na Mungu ni mwema. Unaenda kama hivi, wale nabeba, those that I'm taking to Nakuru, here I am. They even wonder, is this man well fed? You are dressed like this, and you're the one receiving guests. Nakuru, guy. I go airport, waiting lobby. Surely. You must look energetic and enthusiastic. Some people can come to a meeting and everyone genuinely breathes a sigh of relief. There are those people when they come to the office, you feel their presence. Am I right? Kuna mtu ambaye akikosa kwa mkutano msema, "Gai, wapi nani leo?" Unajua kama hayuko, hata hiyo pombe haitakuwa tamu. Sababu he creates energy. He oozes with energy, full of enthusiasm. Wengine they are so boring, you can't even know whether they were there or not. There are people who don't get felt. Literally, they don't get felt. So we are saying, don't appear like you are suffering from malnutrition. Sio lazima ujipake mafuta expensive, hata mafuta ya Remis na kuaga mzuri sana Remis. Jipake tu Remis kwa uso, kaa mzuri na ukifika pahali ongea. Na kama ni kukula, hata kama ni ugali ya kusagiwa kwa posho milukula. Kuna mtu anajuaga kile ulikula, lakini uwe na energy. Unajua wengine wanakujaga hata kwa mkutano. Na nakalia kiti kama kimenunuliwa. Let me show you people without confidence how they sit. Unaona space kubwa imeashiriwa John, lakini anakaa ni kama ako kamete. Now that kind of an individual should not be part of this team called Kenya Bush Expedition. We require somebody who oozes with enthusiasm and energy and zeal and vigor. Becoming enthusiastic can be defined at a higher level, meaning that you also add value in meetings. You don't just go to a meeting and you keep quiet. There are people who are just volumes. They have never contributed anything to add. When the chairman asks anyone with something to say about our company, they keep quiet. But when people are gone, lakini hapo, Lakini hapo kama ningeulizwa, nani alikukataza kusema? Kama ningeulizwa, na ulikuwa wapi? Lakini mkitoka ndio, lakini hapo John. Basi hapo kama tungeongea juu ya nini? Kila mtu anunuliwe simu na anawekewa airtime ya 2000 ingekuwa mzuri. Na unaongea after the meeting is over. Huyu ndiye director. Afanya uamuzi. So when talk about being enthusiastic, it means be a contributor in a meeting. Don't just fill up the numbers. Offer something. Provide feedback. Now, again, let me say this. It is good to be a very honest character and somebody who can be called upon at any time by the directors. You know, there are some people that the directors may feel comfortable working with because of the way they present themselves. How do you package yourself? How do you talk with the guests? How do you talk with your colleagues? Even those hotels that you are positioned in Nairobi, how do you relate with the owners of the hotel? There are those people who would even destroy the relationship between you and Kenya Bush Expeditions. Sababu hata ukiwa huko unasubua watu, huna katasi. Wewe mara uko hapa, uko kule, you are all over. That you don't even follow the protocols that have been established by the organizations. No, be a person who is enthusiastic. Something else, a good employee welcomes what? Challenges. When we talk about a good employee welcoming challenges, what are we saying? Sometimes you may go with a car, it gets stuck in the forest. Doesn't it happen? It can happen. So do you cry with the tourists, with the guests? What do you tell them? Don't you worry, don't you worry, the animals will not come closer to you. Don't you worry, I have been here for quite a long time, I know how they behave. So don't you worry, I can see you are fearing the buffaloes. We have a way of stopping them. Just relax. Just two gentlemen come out, put this and this. Don't you worry. Once I do like this, they know that I'm singing. And you know when you are saying that, you are literally praying to God that they don't charge. Because in the event they charge, you know what happens. One day I made a mistake in the Nakuru, then I hooted to a lino. Oh my goodness. Do you know I reversed more than a kilometer? And I was carrying my children. I don't know what happened by mistake. I think I was trying to do something. Then I hooted. You know they don't like those kind of, nakwambia, I could have lost my family. You should warn these people, and I know you want them when you're carrying tourists. Please don't get out of the car, because you can imagine how your company's name can be dented by losing a tourist. What kind of employees do those people have? Because you should warn them. Tell them, no, don't play around with any animal. They are wild animals. Hey, don't. Do you remember in Masai Mara one day when a cheetah entered into the driver's cabin? Those who can remember. Driver's cabin. And it was horrible. Please. Of course, you must have done a bit of your mathematics. So you see these elephants, just keep quiet. Let them just hear the sound of the car. So I want 4 men to push this car. We are getting out of this place. So don't you worry, we are safe. Because then you can't convert that place to be a destination. There was somewhere you are going, but challenges will come your way. Another challenge, the vehicle can break down. Na uko na wasungu, uko na wageni. Do you start crying? Let us cry, all of us. No, you don't call for a meeting of crying. So don't you worry. They inform the directors, look for a mechanic, make arrangements to have the car rescued from that point. Challenges will always come. A tourist can get sick. What do you do? Now, uko na tourist kwa gari na maybe you have experienced that. Mtu amegojeka na kwa gari. What do? You cancel the safari you are going. First of all, you address the problem the patient has. Am I right? You know, let me tell you, when you get, I don't know, are you married? Not yet. When you get married, your mother will not tell you the husband comes at 11:30. So position yourself this way. No. Those are things you learn on the job. Am I right? Some things you learn them on the job. So one of the things that you must be, a good employee knows that at every given challenge, there must be a solution. Sometimes you may even realize that your guest has left something far away from where you are. Do you start telling the tourists, I thought that you had this. You had curiosity. So why did you leave your camera? And you know this is Kenya. Chances of us getting that camera. Who will cater for the fuel? And the way our directors are strict on fuel. Directors are very strict on fuel. So you have to pay for this. You see, you don't do that. You say, don't you worry. Let me call back. Hello? My guest left something there. Remember always to take contacts of the places that you go stopping. Am I right? You may not know what I'm telling you right now. Always take contacts. Somebody may leave something there and it can be rescued. So please, hello, how are you, Jennifer? This is Maura. We were there a few minutes ago, but my guest has left his camera, Canon. Please keep it safe. Admeyona. You see, you have saved the situation. Sasa you can imagine driving all the way from Maimahiu again to Nairobi to come in. Why? Because you never picked the number. Pick the numbers of the people that you interact with all the time. Have them. And don't use them unnecessarily. Always use them when they are necessary. Then a good employee goes above and beyond. So the fact that you're supposed to report at work at 5, and if work at 5, sometimes you can find yourself extending even up to 7. You're saying an employee who always does their utmost to ensure key tasks are completed correctly on time and within their budget is a treasure. Hakuna mtu ambaye anasikiaga vizuri sana kama mwajiri ambaye akona wafanyikazi wanajua kufanya kazi yao na sio kuangalia tu saa. Finding people who are willing and able to go above and beyond for their company and colleagues is not easy. Kuna watu wengine tu wanafanyaga kazi ya kawaida tu. You can't go out of your way. And something else I want to remind you as a good employee is that if someone asks you from here to Mombasa, how long does it take when there is no traffic? What do you say? A good employee, you don't give exact time. You say it depends on how the road and traffic is. Because if you tell him it is 3 hours, these people are very particular when it comes to matters time. You do, before you give any answer, do research. Mwambie, don't be specific. Mwambie, it depends, because sometimes you can find an accident. Ordinarily, when the traffic is flowing, you can take 4 to 5 hours, cruising at about 80 kilometers per hour. But when there's traffic, sometimes it can be a challenge. Now, that person will respect you forever. Then, when you go to the airport, washa kusifu airport yenu sana. Nasema, in our airport, sometimes you can have some challenges, there can be some delays, so that hata akienda abiwe that the flight will be delayed by 10 minutes, this person is psychologically prepared. Go above and beyond. Let me say this, finding people, getting honest feedback from references is the most reliable way to see if your prospective new hire has the trait among the qualities of a good employee. When you're employing, because I'm normally a panelist in many banks and institutions, there are some things that we look for. We don't just look at the way you look like, we look at the way you carry yourself, the way you behave, the way you respond. It's called aptitude test. We do what we call aptitude test and numerical test. We need to know whether you can be able to make some conclusions without being persuaded. So a good employee is the one who goes beyond. Beyond means you don't have to be in the office at 6:30, but if it's okay with you, why should you? Like in Nairobi, if you live, for instance, we thank God the roads are good now. If you used to live in Eastrads, barabara sitengenezwe. Kufika town, how long was it taking? Wellington? More than 2 hours. 2 hours kwa traffic. Nowadays things are better. So if you live in Eastrads, na unajua mkutano ni wa saa 2, what time are you supposed to leave your house? 5:30. Am I right? So umefika pale, sio kuja tena kwa ofisi, watu wako kwa mkutano, unakuja kama mgoroki. Unakuja hivi. Haya. Mulianza. Umefikisha wapi? Boss umefikisha wapi? Notes. Sasa unaandika kama kuku amenyeshewa notes. You start even disturbing others. You know there's some people without courtesy. When you come late, what do you do? When you are late, what do you do for the meeting? When you come, assuming now I'm coming, assuming now this is the time I'm coming. So what you do? You open the door like this. You open it pore. You keep quiet. Because remember, you are already late. Don't become a disturbance to the meeting. Am I right? Wengine wanakujaga fiti. Wengine hakuna carpet, ni viatu. Toa. You know, a good employee, let me tell you, if you want to earn the respect of the directors that you see here, please, let me surprise you on this one again. Number one, always, we said you must be punctual. Do you remember we talked about punctuality? We talked about being dependable, reliable, come to the meeting early, be settled. Na kama ni chai mnakunywa, be settled. Then, when the meeting starts, number one, and I'm happy, all these phones should be on silent mode. If you want to become a good employee, dependability here, I'll explain it, I'll expound it because I want you people to understand this. Now, dependability means that the directors can even leave you with a task. Directors can go to South Africa, to Dubai, the 5 of them. Are you 5, 7, or 10 directors? I don't know how many you are, because you had not even informed me. I thought that you are the only director. And that's good. So that now you surprised me when I had you. This Mr. Moshina, Mr. John. That's good. And I was happy to see that you work as a team. That is the way it should be. Because directors when they are united, the employees even find themselves becoming more. Unaona kwa nyumba, wakati bibi na bwana wako sawa, si familia inakuanga sawa. The Bible says the family that plays together stays together. So we appreciate the directors. Thank you for taking the company for 9 years, and we look forward to you going up to 100 years. So that even when you leave this world, you can leave your children and children's. Na watoto wenu pia, na mfanya kazi kwa bidii mpaka your son can, you know, if you are paid well, hata your son can also come here. So when I saw a company called in Kiambu, when Mr. Kariuki is called Mr. Kariuki retired, the son was brought. Imagine, just to continue because of good deeds. So dependability, let me first of all talk about dependability. I know we have managers here. I know directors you operate, but you have got senior people in here. I don't know who your senior team members of the team are. I know you have got managers, marketing managers, you have relationship managers, you have coordinators, you have tour guides and what have you. But the issue of becoming dependable means that if the directors can entrust you with something, they are comfortable 100%. Wakikupatia wageni wanajua hao wageni watakuja wakiwa wamefurahia sana, mali yao itakuwa safe, time yao itakuwa respected, and every itinerary will be observed. Unajua there's something called itinerary, ile mna follow. Simkula ile program mna follow. Washa shortcut. Wengine unajua sababu hawajui hapa. Nitaka. Si tulikuwa tunaenda Muiga. Nitakata ya Kenagop. Are you a car tracked? So do you have car tracks? You see, if you're a dependable employee, you don't have to worry whether there's a car track or not. You don't have to worry whether you have a CCTV or not, because what you're doing is right. A dependable employee does not rely on gadgets. Being dependable, as I've told you, is about more than showing up on time and providing deliverables accordingly. Dependability is about general attitude, willingness to contribute, and flexibility to fulfill the needs of a project with skills and resources that are not always in your job description. Let me come to JD and JS. You understand what's a job description. Some of you understand what's a job description. What have you been hired to do? So we have a difference between job description and job specification. So if you operate within the job description, you're a poor employee. A poor employee, me, I'm not there. It's not my department after all. You know you're working for one company, but it is not my department. Are you a team player? I'm coming to that. Are you a team player? Let me surprise you. A good employee, if he's not there, you can come and study in his gap. Because you're working for the same company. Usema hiyo mambo hii. Mimi nalipa kwa mshahara wake. Afanya hiyo. Hiyo ni ya shauri yake. Na kikiumana ni pade ya. Let me ask you a question. When this company called Kenya Bush Expeditions experiences financial problems, don't all of you get affected? So why should you allow then a part you could have played and help the Kenya Bush Expeditions to go beyond? So the best thing that you need to do is becoming dependable means you don't operate within your job description. You can even go out of your way. Are you telling me that because he's not in and you're not a driver, but you know how to drive, you can't take guests? Pale ukiambiwa upeleke guest Nakuru huwezi ukapeleka. Sasa mimi sio driver. You already know how to drive and you know the place very well. You know the terrain very well. Si alisema anataka Wellington, ama John. Atumie John. No, you say whatever comes your way as long as. So if she's in charge of the desk, we should ask ourselves, how many guests has our sister here, Shep, been able to handle within that period? So she also deserves to be given a reward for that. If you have been driving for Wellington for 10 years, you have never caused an accident, there must be a reward from the management. If the car has never come with a scratch, you know there's some people that you give a new car within 6 months, hiyo car inaonekana. Unajua kuna watu director, kuna watu wajue hajali sio yangu after all. Unakuta kuna pahali unaona ukipitia hapa gari itakwaruswa. Abia don't you worry, Kenya, this is Kenya, kuna matata. Let's just try. Unajua gari inakwaruswa, that is another income that goes to waste. Instead of giving them more bonus for the year, you say expenditure was higher than income. So you see your behavior has cost many other people in the organization. Am I right? So what? Ukipatiwa pesa ya service, unasema wewe tu eka tu oil, eka ile nyepesi. Sika bora gari iende. You have directors wetu wengine ni makaburu. Just weka hiyo kidogo oil. Tugenya na moto. Itaenda? Have your gari na knock engine 100,000. Are you dependable employee? You know, when talk about strong work ethic, it means number one, if you are working for Kenya Bush Expeditions, usione huyu msichana ni mrembo, I'll start by never fall in love with a colleague. If you want to lose your job very, very fast, fall in love with your colleague. Sababu akikuta unaongea na yule, we, mark your territory. Mnaanza kupigana kwa hall, kwa ofisi. Si ni kweli jameni? I have been like in Equity, if you are found in a relationship with a colleague, termination on the spot. I hope some of you know that. You can't marry a colleague in Equity Bank. And I like their policy. It's a very good Hishara policy. Similarly, if you want to succeed, if you want to move far in life, strong work ethic, never ever fall in love with a colleague. There are many women out there, my brother. But not, why should you focus on this one? Mtaumizana bude kwa roho. Washiria huyu. Akae huko nje. Tafuta wako kule nje. The notion of a work ethic may seem intangible, but with a little consideration, it is easy to understand how the seemingly amorphous characteristics make our list of the best qualities of a good employee. What defines a strong work ethic varies from business to business. Unajua, like now in your, you must be Kenya's ambassador. When tourists come, you are the people who represent Kenya. Am I right? Don't talk bad things about Kenya. You know Kenya is very corrupt. Who asked you? Let them go and study on their own about corruption. Say Kenya is a good place. God has favored us with weather, animals, good people, people who love. Say good things about your nation. If they ask you about Kenya Expeditions, talk good Kenya Bush Expeditions. Say it is the best company. By the way, we've been rated the best. Say you are dealing with the best company. Hata kama hamujafanyiwa rating, si ataenda kujitafutia. Na akikosa si ulimpatia service akaona ni mzuri. Sababu ulimpatia the best huduma anyway. So how do you define yourself? You say you are the best. You are the most beautiful in the world. First of all, the Bible says, love yourself first. Am I right? If somebody tells you have a long nose, ask him whether he was the benchmark of Jesus. John, you are the best the world created. You are the best. Am I right? Don't look down upon yourself. A strong work ethic is reporting to work on time, avoiding giving excuses, avoiding absenteeism, avoiding issues to do with what we call a privilege. We be a company. Mambo ya theft. That you can even go and park a car. I saw some government employees changing tires of a car somewhere. Because now I drive a Prado. I deliver my Prado in Thika. Another one comes with Prado ya serikali. Tunatoa tires tunaweka kwa yangu. Is that ethical? It is not ethical. Na ukianzia kuiba hapo, that's how people steal. Unajua mtu anasikiaga akiwa mwizi, anaanziaga kuiba mayai mawili ya wazazi, unanyamaza kwa nyumba. Sasa ataenda kuiba kwa jira na finally kwa bank, anauliwa. So the best thing, strong work ethic basically means, can we respect the company policies? Kama tulisema ni kudress company uniform, hakuna kitu ingine, sote we must be kama ni kukaa na tie, hata kama inakunyoga, kaa unafungua kidogo kama inakunyoga. Na kama inakunyoga kuja tukufugie ikiwa loose. Kama ni kukaa na jackets, kama ni kukaa na t-shirts, na kama ni kukaa na kofia, tunakaa hivyo. Na kama tunasema every Monday na Friday tuko na dress code, tunafanya hivyo. Tuseme strong work ethic. No case should be brought forth to the office because of you as the driver. Hata kuna kitu ya guest kilipotea. Ama nini? Ama uliwapeleka in a substandard hotel. Kama boss alisema you must be at the airport at 7. Don't be there at 7. Be there at 6:50. 6:30. Unajua ni vibaya sana mgeni akikuja anakupigia simu director. Hata hello, Mwara Mushina. Where are you? We are still stranded here in the airport, and we were told the car was to come here in the next 15 minutes. We are now here. How do you feel? You feel so bad. Nimesikia hata other nini ikiwa cancelled, other scheduled tours ikiwa cancelled. You know, I deal with people. I deal with so many companies, and I can tell you there is nothing as important as maintaining a strong work ethic where you are predictable. Ikisemekana mnapitia, na nimesema hivi mfikirie hiyo maneno sana. With the time, Mr. Chairman, with your directors, you can even think of having even your own joints. You never know. You can even hire, even lease. Pahali utakuwa unapeleka wasungu wako. You go to Isiolo, hire a space, 50,000 or 100,000 per year. Where hire place, where develop. People do that. Let me surprise you. Some of those facilities that you see, they are not for the owners. Si ni watu wamehire. There is. You can even lease a facility, so that money can be coming back to where you are. You can even work on and I know you do that. You can go to Eldoret. There are so many hotels there. You can have a pact with those people. Make sure that you also benefit. It's called symbiotic benefit. Because if you take tourists to them, they should give you something in return. You are not working at a Mother Teresa philosophy of philanthropy. They should pay you something for that good that you have done. Na nyinyi mkifanya kazi mzuri, na hao directors watengeneza pesa, mtaongezewa mishahara. Sio ni kitu mzuri? Because if they make money, they'll give you good salaries. But if they don't make money, where do you expect them to give you money from? And I have told you, you must always be seeing yourself as the CEOs. You are the Chief Executive Officer of Kenya Bush Expeditions. All the time, whether they are there or not, you are the ambassador. We are saying, Your personal values must also align with the values of Kenya Bush Expedition. Your personal values must align with the company values. So do you have values? What are values? What are ethics? What are values? And why are values important? We mentioned the importance of finding employees who support company goals. And this is a further cog on that wheel. When an employee has similar values to those, do you have what we call, by the way, do you have values? Do you have what we call values in your company? Do you have what we refer to them as what? Core values. Number 1 should be integrity. Number 2 should be transparency. Number 3 should be honest. Those are what we call the core values. You should also be having your individual core values. Those individual core values must also be in line with the values of Kenya Bush Expeditions, because integrity applies to both the company and the individual employee. Honesty applies to both the company and the employee. Transparency, accountability. If you have been given money to do something for the guests, do it. No, let me surprise all of you as employees. We have got so many Kenyans today languishing in poverty because they never respected the values of the organization. And when you may not know the value of this job until you lose it. And I'm telling you, you may not know the value. You may not be getting a lot of money because the company is not that huge. But the little that God has given you, use it well. Ask me, when people take these jobs for granted, I know somebody was saying, even if I lose this job, so that lady, she was called Mama Kingori, she lost her job. She was crying every day. Because, you do not know the value of all the figures until you lose one. Happen to have an accident on this one. That is when you know how important this finger is. Lose one eye, once kuna kama duvi. Halafu hiyo ingine imebaki igie kakitu kanaitwa kadoba. Sasa Mungu, uliniuba ni kuabudu. That's when you realize how masterpiece God was. So respect this job. Let me, on these personal values, let me come to a very important point before, as we are almost there, don't you worry. Money issues. Let me talk about money issues. Kuna watu wengine kila mwisho wa mwezi wako kwa boss. Nipe salary advance. Every time uko salary advance, hata hakuna kitu nalipagwa because you can't manage your finances. If you want to secure your job in any organization, you must become a good financial manager. Hakuna kitu kinaudhi muajiri kama kila mwisho wa mwezi on 15th advance. Kwa sababu umezoea 20 na ulichukua advance 15. Can I get additional advance? Every time advance. I have been telling people wherever I go to consult, if you want to be respected by your boss, matters finances washana nayo. Jisort kule nje, lakini mambo ya kuitisha boss advance, you actually get marked. Kitu ikipotea kwa ofisi, who is the first culprit? Yule ambaye anakujaga kuchukua advance. Kitu ikipotea, huyo ndiye alipita nayo. So you must be a reliable person. You must be a responsible person. Reliability means you are always available when needed to offer services to the organization called Kenya Bush Expeditions. You are always available. You are reliable. And you can be called upon at any hour, and you do things in a manner that does not hurt negatively the position of Kenya Bush Expeditions. You must be a reliable and responsible individual. Very, very important. I don't even have to labor on talking about being reliable. Reliable means you're available when needed and when your services are needed by the organization that has hired you. Responsible means you're doing the right thing without being superintended by the organization that has given you the job. And you're doing things in the right way, not just doing things for the sake of doing them. You must be reliable and responsible. You interact effectively. When talk about interacting are social relationships that you create with the people that you work with. So how would the people view you or talk about you in matters social behavior? How do you behave with your colleagues? How do you behave with your guests? How do you behave with your family members? How do you behave even before those others who are strangers to you? Some people are more effective communicators than others. The people who can hit the ground running and get the point across to others in your organization are the people to add value to your organization. So anytime you go and you see people admiring you for who you are a really valuable person to the organization. You know, it is called interpersonal relationships. How do you interact with individuals? How do you interact with guests? How do you interact with other players in the market? Kenya Bush Expedition, we said, is not a monopoly. So we have other people doing the same thing that you do. There come a time, I know you meet with the other colleagues from other tour companies. Don't you meet with them? Ingine inaandikagwa miguu iko na miguu ya mnyama. The drive safaris. Inaonanga iko na miguu. I normally see so many. So when you meet with them, do you go shouting to them, "We, unatunyang'anya kazi bwana. Unatunyang'anya kazi bwana, wewe ni aje?" No, hi, mambo, kazi iko aje? Tuko poa, tuendelee. You can even help each other. Ukikuta gari yake haina taya moja unampatia. I think that is the spirit of interaction. So you need to ensure that you don't create an empire of singularity, centrality, that where you see yourself. It is called egocentric kind of living. Egocentric means where you perceive yourself to be the only person the universe provided. No, interact with other people. Talk with other people and share with them your experiences, and more so that add value to the organization. Passionate. Are you passionate about your job? How do you feel about your job? Are you happy about your job? Passion, ambition, drive. Passion, ambition, and drive. Whatever you decide to call it, employers may favor whoever has it. Every employer is looking for that passionate individual, that guy who does not wait to be pushed to work, that man who wakes up in the morning knowing that he's going to serve Kenya Bush Expedition with all his energy, zeal, education, and vigor. That person who knows that what puts food on the table is the proceeds of Kenya Bush Expeditions, and our business is to treat customers with delight and joy. That guy who has got no issues with the employer. That guy whose name has never appeared in the black book. Are you passionate about what you do? Those who are filled with the passion are willing to go the extra mile. The harmonious passion. They feel that they own the process. They know there is what we call a collective responsibility. We have the board of directors, yes, but I'm also a player within the organization, and I must do what I'm supposed to do, irrespective of what the prevailing circumstances. They are passionate about their job. These are the employees that we need. To become a better employee, you must be passionate. Then, as you almost come to the conclusion, there are team players. Are you a team player? The word team means together each achieve more. Together each achieve more. Team. Together each achieve more. So when we become a team, we manage our affairs well, and we are able to become more productive. Most jobs require you to work as part of a team. Be ready to handle yourself in a group, whether you are reading or following. Very, very important. And then, of course, now, as we come to the close of our discussion today, you must be socially intelligent. Don't be ignorant. You ought to know who is the current Minister for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. You need to know who is the Foreign Minister for Tourism. You need to know who is the Minister for Environment. You need to know who is the Minister for Internal Security. You must have some information. You must know what is happening in Ukraine and Russia. You must know why Vladimir Putin has refused to listen to the world, to the G7. Don't appear to be ignorant. If you appear to be, nobody wants to deal with an ignorant character. Social intelligence in the workplace also reduces conflict. No, I'm coming to that. Conflict resolution within organizations. Even sometimes directors may have issues. We are all human. They are not, even Pope has issues with the issue of Catholic priests impregnating men and women. And you know they took vows of celibacy. Then how do you communicate amongst yourselves? Interpersonal communications. So when you have issues, don't go telling everybody. Sasa huyu tulikosana naye, unamwambia nini? The issue was between you and me, not him. Why are you bringing him as a third party? Why are you bringing him as amicus curiae? You know he's an amicus curiae in law, Fred of the court. Why are you bringing him as an amicus curiae? We don't require him. He was not part of Lesio Desiderio or Bicta Dictam in law. He was not part of the process that gave the judgment anyway. You know, when I can speak in the language of law anyway to become something different. So what we are saying, after directors, when they have issues, they know how to solve them. You may not even know that they had issues. They also have, we are human beings like us. So John may have an issue with Mr. John, the other John. John may have an issue with Mr. Mushina, but you know they solve. Have you ever seen them fighting? Since you came to this, you'll never see them fighting. Why? Because they say, Mr. Mushina, I think that was not right. I think we need to do ABC. And now anasikizana. And they discuss. And they can even discuss, they can even say, we are now 10, by the time you are going to be 10 years old, we are going to ensure that, John, you get a company of your own at the Kenya Bush Expedition, but on this line. Then, Mushina, we want you to go now into hospitality. Start building, or we'll build hotels for you worth 10, 15 million shillings so that you can be handling the guests. Still under the Kenya Bush Expedition. But me, I will remain the MD for tourists. You can agree. And you can even disagree to agree. You don't have to agree everything. This is not a church scholars. This is not Apostles' Creed. I believe in... They what we call divergent of views. And you see, diversity gives us more quality outcomes. So become a team player, become socially intelligent, and know how to handle your issues. Let me now come to this. I know you never expected this one to come. As I conclude, what brings down companies? Isn't it important that you know? Very, very important. This one, Mr. Moshina, I know none of you would have expected me to come with this, but you need to know what can bring Kenya Bush Expedition down. Failure to understand your market and customers. If you don't understand your market and customers, the company will come down. What keeps you alive? What keeps Kenya Bush Expeditions a company? It is purely because of the customers that you handle and the way you handle them. Understanding the market. Where are they interested? Why do you think they'll use you? If you do what other companies are doing, then you are so ordinary. You must do things out of the ordinary. So you can even think of having umbrellas, branded Kenya Bush Expeditions, kukiwa na joto unawapatia, unawambia hiyo mubebe. That's a marketing tool. You can even decide, identify a place where many people don't take their guests. Take them there, become unique. It is called the USP, unique selling point. So if you fail to understand your market and customers, the company can come down. Failure to understand and communicate what you are selling. How many of you market Kenya Bush Expeditions? Remember, if you are the driver, you are the central point of the company called Kenya Bush. The product you are selling, it is the driver. It is not Mr. Moshina, Mr. John, or John who sells the company. It is you, the driver, because you are the one who have to take those guests and the language that you use. You spend more time with the guests than the directors. Am I speaking the truth? So you are the contact person. So if you fail to understand and communicate what is right to the guests that you are handling, the company will come down collapsing. Reactive attitudes. When you hear the boss telling you, change your way of doing things, you become bitter, you take it personal, you lose it. Because companies have issues. We all have issues. Even the people that I read, we have issues. But then, how do they react? The way you react has a lot to do with the growth of the company. So if all of you became timid and you started responding in a very negative way, the company will go down. How do you respond? Remember, we talked about your attitude defining the altitude of Kenya Bush Expeditions. Over-dependence on a single customer. That you only rely on people from Germany. If you hear they are coming from Japan, you shut up. No, you should handle all guests from all over the universe. So don't depend on one single customer. If you depend on one single customer and something happens to him or her, what happens? You close your shop. No customer strategy. I don't know what it is that do you have a package before the guests leave? You entertain them. You take them to one of the joints that will create a lasting moment with you people. Create it. Even if it means you can even charge an extra coin to the guests with a view of making them happy before they leave. So that they can have a memorable moment with you. When they think about coming to Kenya, they think about Kenya Bush Expedition. I hope I'm communicating. So do you have customer strategy? Do you have an exit how do customers exit from the hearts of Kenya Bush Expedition? How do you depart? How do you separate yourself from the company, the client you have been handling? You just say bye. Is that the only thing that you do? What do you give as a merchandise to make sure that the connection and the contact with Kenya Bush Expedition was a memorable one? If you don't have a strategy for that, you are gone. Not knowing when to say no. Sometimes you can be forced by a tourist to peleke kule Menengai kule juu na kunanyesha. You say no, and you stick to no because you know if you go up there na pengine kunanyesha, watu watakufia kule. You dent the image of the company. This time, even ladies, and whoever approaches you nakubali. Everybody, sasa Joyce na wangane, sawa tu. Oh, excuse me, I'm not a doormat. There comes a time to say no. The other thing that kills companies is poor management. Let me spend the time here, poor management. What does poor management mean? Mr. John says we need to buy another new car. But he says for what? And you're in business of carrying tourists and of course taking them to various destinations where a vehicle is a necessary tool. It's a tool of trade, am I right? Because you can't walk with your tourists from Nairobi airport to, let us walk. Meridian is not very far. Let's just walk. So you need cars. You cannot keep hiring cars all the time. You do what we call the cost-benefit analysis. How much does it cost to buy a car? How much does it cost to hire a car? In terms of servicing and paying for the risk, which is cheaper. So if I am to fix a car, it takes me for 6 months. It becomes cheaper as my asset. And when if you buy a car, don't overstay with the car for more than 5 years. Because that car will start eating on your returns. So on the 4th year, sell, dispose, bring another one, new one. Unakaa na gari kama bibi. Bibi ndiye mtu anakaa naye miaka mingi bila ku-replace. Gari you replace because you know the servicing cost will be very high. The running cost will be very high. So if the management can't agree, you can discuss and agree. They can bring down a company. So management is also very, very important. Now, if you don't plan, we say if you don't plan, nobody plans to fail, but we fail to plan. We need to plan at individual level and at company level. As the saying goes, failing to plan is planning to fail. If you don't know where you're going, you'll never get there. If you don't have a defined destination, then how will you know that you have arrived at your destination? Having a comprehensive and actionable strategy allows you to create engagement, alignment, and ownership within your organization. It's a clear roadmap that shows where you have been, where you are, and where you are going next. Very, very important. So if you don't plan, the company will come down. So where do you want to be in the next 5 years? That's what we call strategic planning. Inexperienced management team. If you bring people who have no idea what Kenya Bush Expedition is doing or what is the core value of Kenya Bush Expedition, you are going to fall and close that company. Underestimating the importance of cash flow. You require money to run the affairs of Kenya Bush Expeditions. So money, accountability is key. Every money that comes your way must be properly used and effectively and efficiently managed for the purposes of making the company a going on concern. Lack of focus. You don't know where you're going. You're just there. You are on autopilot. The moment you lose focus in life, then you lose what we call the bets that make a company to tickle. Lack of focus. Not knowing about your competitors. You can't afford to be ignorant. At any given time, you need to be knowing what the competitors are doing out there so that you can also benchmark and do the right things so that you may be able to overcome and you create what we call a competitive edge. You create a competitive edge by knowing what other players in the same line of business they are doing so that you can overdo them and you become the better option. Not seeking a professional advice. Like now, why do you think Mr. Mwaura called upon me to come here? He knows I'm a professional, this is what I do, to come and tell you what I'm telling you today. You might have heard from him and other directors, and we say in English, familiarity breeds contempt. Because you have heard from them many times, you may not even take them seriously. That is why they called now the third voice to come and talk to you like I have done. So if you're not careful by having the right people coming and sharing the information with you, that may be another recipe of failure for the organization. In effective business planning, do you plan your business? Is Kenya Bush Expedition business planned in overall quantums? A sound business plan should include at minimum a clear description of the business that you do. Everybody must, if you go to Japan, they have what we call the Kaizen philosophy, the continuous improvement philosophy, the TQM philosophy, the total quality management philosophy. So everybody in the company called Kenya Bush Expedition must be knowing what does the company entail, what does it do, what is its core values, what does its charter say. Current and future employee and management needs. Are we sufficient? Are we able to meet the demands of our customers at optimum level? Are we sufficiently trained to handle the market? Very, very important. Opportunities and threats with the broader market. So what are some of the challenges we envisage will come and hit our company? And what are the mitigating factors that we need to put into place to ensure the company called Kenya Bush Expedition moves on? Capital needs. How much money do we need? And what are the projections of what we call needs in our company? And are we going to borrow money or are we going to use our reserved earnings to be able to overcome this particular challenge? Then marketing initiatives. What are we doing to expand our market base? Are we going to have a marketing team with a marketing manager? Are we going to use social media as a means of making people aware of our existence? Or what is it that we are going to do? Competitor analysis, I have talked about it. Na wahenga wanasema jameni, kilicho na mwanzo hakina budi kuwa na mwisho. Tama hadi tamati, na mwisho ndio huo. Hadi wakati mwingine, sina lingine ila tu kusema nimeshukuru kuwa nanyi.